had homeroom in Spanish.
All right, yesterday we did half angles. Today we're doing double angles. So a similar thing to what we were doing in the last problems at the end yesterday, but we're finding the exact values of the sine of 2a, cosine 2a, and tangent 2a with the given information. So 18 is the tangent of a equals negative square root of 3, and pi over 2 is less than a is less than pi. So what quadrant is this in?
First.
Nope.
It's 1 cent.
Second.
Oh, second.
Oh yeah, the second one. It was 0.
So tangent of a is negative root 3. Tell me where stuff goes.
I don't have my calculator.
It is.
You don't need a unit circle for this.
It's 120 degrees.
That's my circle.
I'm not looking at that. I'm labeling a triangle.
Oh, tangent is
A sine over opposite. I mean the opposite. So kato opposite over
opposite
adjacent.
over adjacent.
So
Okay.
your uplining is gonna be. Oh, square. It's negative square root of 3.
Is this in the negative direction?
It's negative 1 on the bottom and root 3.
There
on
we
the,
go.
On the opposite side.
Because going up is positive.
Oh, that's.
So this is really over 1, okay? And that's why it's important to draw it in the right spot so that you know where things go, so that you don't get your stuff in the wrong direction. Probably because it's warming up outside, and my classroom doesn't like to adjust to that.
Pastor Webster's class is hot for no reason.
Because we write so much in class.
You don't even write
The
anything.
friction from my pencil makes the room warmer. Right.
Like,
All right, what would the other side be?
A squared plus b squared equals c squared. 3.
2. Wait.
You
I
can
don't
do
know.
it.
I just said 3.
Wait,
why?
it's root 3. So
Square-
it's just 3 plus 1,
4.
which is 4, which
2.
is for root of 4 is 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
2.
Oh, it's also the special triangle that I forgot.
Special.
1, 2, root 3.
Special.
Is that just something to do?
All right, so now
No. Not this. I need something to drink.
Oh, I thought you said
I want to do these in the right order. Find the sine, cosine, and tangent of each of the things. Obviously, they gave me tangent. What's the sine of A?
Sine is square root of 3 over 2. Root 3 of 2.
What?
Yeah, sine is root 3 of 2.
Oh,
And negative 1/2 is cosine.
I don't know what I thought he said. That was not what I thought he said. That's why I was like, what?
Good crack.
Brain was lagging there for a second. All right, so now they want us to find the sine of 2a, the cosine of 2a, and the tangent of 2a. So we have all those lovely formulas
Yeah.
that Ryan brought with him today. Yesterday you didn't have your notes with you.
I
So,
did. I actually
wait.
did them.
So
And I thought I
No.
did it.
No, that's
But
why
I
I
did
said
not
you
do
have
it.
them with you today.
I was
You
so
won't be
proud of
confused.
myself. I got home and the first thing I did was check my notebook and see if I did them. That's not true.
Close enough. All right, so notice sine of 2a only has one formula. Cosine of 2a has 3 formulas. So when we do this, we can pick our favorite one. It doesn't matter. Sometimes one's easier than the other for a particular problem, but it doesn't matter. And then tangent of 2a is, tangent. So the sine of 2a is equal to 2 sine of a cosine a.
So 2.
So this would be, and we already know what sine of a is, right? We've already found these things. So this is 2 times root 3 over 2 times negative 1/2.
Are we allowed to put these in our calculator?
Why?
Just to do. So we
Why?
don't have to write it.
Everything cancels.
Why?
What does that mean?
The 2's cancel. Because it's 2 over 1.
This is going to be the next keep change flip problem. So look, the 2's cancel. All I'm left with on top is a root 3, and
So
on the
it's
bottom is a 2.
It would be
Oh, because
negative.
2 over 1.
What?
What?
Nice.
2 is
So
2
this
over
is
1.
negative root 3 over 2.
Yeah.
Yay.
Wait, Shepherd. What?
Whoa, so sine.
And these should make sense because this is a special triangle.
So you're just-
They aren't always special triangles.
What?
So, why, if we know what the sine of A is, can we not just multiply that times 2?
Because it's
How
not the
that
sine of
works.
A.
Because
it's
we
the
don't know
sine
what
of
A
2A.
is.
Because 2 times the sine of A is not the same thing as the sine of 2 times A.
I feel like it should be.
Well, it's
It
not.
just changes the angle.
I think from now on I'm just going to say.
Because because the angle is what's different. In one case, you're multiplying the whole thing by 2. In the other case, you're just multiplying the angle by 2.
I was going to say that.
But she-
How do we know?
This one is just a weird one, in which case it equals the exact same thing as the sine of A. But, well, other than it being negative, but normally like that doesn't necessarily happen. All right, cosine of 2A. We have 3 different formulas that we can use to do it. Does anybody have a preference which one they want to
Yes.
use?
I like the
Does
first
it
one.
matter which ones we use?
What's the first one?
1 minus 2 sine squared A.
No, it does not matter which one we use. Now, just as a reminder, I know we briefly talked about this the other day, but the sine squared of A is the same as the sine of A squared. Okay?
What?
For the purpose
I'm sorry.
of us thinking about these things. So, when you go to plug in the number, you're going to replace the sine of A with whatever that number is and then square the whole thing.
Okay.
So this is going to be 1 minus 2 times the sine of A was root 3 over 2
So
squared.
Which is just 3 over 2.
3 over 4. Square the top and the bottom.
Dang it.
So this is 1 minus 2 times 3 over 4. That would reduce down. So 1 minus 3 halves.
Negative 1 and 3.
So
This would
Negative
be
half.
2 over 2 minus 3 over 2 is negative 1 over 2. Which again makes sense at that angle value that we know.
Did you say we were gonna hate this section?
we did.
Yesterday, I think you kind of did, but
Yes,
It's
it is.
like
not
one
that bad.
part.
Everything made sense
So
except
we
for
have to
number 13.
memorize
My
like,
mom says
all
I
the
need to teach
variations
it.
of the formula.
so
Like the cosine.
hold on, let me look. So yes, you're gonna need to know them because part of this section is also, if you remember when we were in, what was it 14.3, where we were using identities and simplifying things, you now will use these identities to also simplify.
In addition to the other things, okay.
And these will be really key in calculus. We've been using these a lot. Of rewriting things.
Will we have a cheat sheet with our formulas on it for the test? Because there's no way I'm memorizing all these.
If we're doing a cheat sheet, then we're doing it tomorrow.
Cool.
Because the quiz is on Friday.
Cheat sheet. Everybody cool?
Yep.
Yeah,
Sure,
good.
tomorrow.
Oh, man.
I don't care.
No, I know. I'm saying I don't.
I
I need a cheat sheet.
Mm.
Yes.
What?
Cheat sheet.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I
We
mean,
can do it at like the end of class tomorrow so y'all can look over them tomorrow.
Is
However you want to do
it's
it.
these formulas right here from 14.7 on the notes that I did.
And the 14.6 sum and difference formulas.
So 0.6 and 0.7.
Bruh.
So when you say cheat sheet, that
What
means
I'm going to do is I'm going to hand you the cheat sheet you had the other day back. You're going to put them on the back of it. And then I'll recheck them. If it's a good grade, I'll put it in if you get them like what we did the other day. If it's not a good grade, then it just will not count for you.
You said the cheat sheet we had the other day. What is that?
The one that you used on the test.
Oh, okay. Man, that was a good for any of these things.
Okay, tangent of 2a.
Oh, I didn't do this.
Alright, tangent only has one formula.
Oh shoot, I'm dropping my
2 tangent of a over 1 minus tangent squared of a. So 2 times negative root 3. Oh, we left out. There's not a fraction. Over 1 minus, in parentheses, negative root 3 squared. It's really important. Otherwise, you're going to end up with your wrong signs. So on top, I have negative 2 root 3. On the bottom, I have 1 minus 3. Which is negative 2. So this just ends up being root 3.
What was the other?
So this tangent one obviously wasn't as bad as some of them are. I'm going to do another one of these because 1, there's not a ton of double angle questions in this section. And 2, I want to make sure that we know how to do one that's not a special one. So 20, cosine of A is 2 over 5, and it's from negative pi over 2 less than A less than 0.
1.
So where's that?
4. Quadrant 4.
Yep. So,
I just put quadrant 5 because I put the I in the wrong place.
if you put the I in the wrong place, it's probably quadrant 6.
Well, I put the 5 first, and I was like,
Oh, I was like,
no.
I was like, if you had an I, it has to either be 4 or like 6. So remember these triangles.
Or an N.
Okay, or don't do that. Are drawn this.
Just write numbers. The Romans?
What?
Not working. Why didn't the Romans just write numbers?
It's a good question. I don't know.
They didn't have
And did
that.
they
had
say
seven,
IV? Like,
Well, they don't speak English, so I don't really know.
like it'd be weird if they said I.
They speak Latin.
It'd be like, can you repeat that one more time? I didn't quite catch that. And they were like,
Luna.
2,757,000. Like,
Numbers are really hard in
Exactly.
like Chinese because you just say 310 3 for 33.
What is it Latin?
But then like
so you basically have to do math in
Yeah.
order to
Right.
figure out their numbers.
yeah, but the bigger numbers aren't the same. So instead of
Oh, I
saying
thought
like
Latin was
100,000, they
already-
say 10
No, I'm a
10,000.
Latin expert.
And it's really confusing when it gets to really big numbers.
Teeny.
Yeah, that's too much. All right, where do these numbers go?
Five.
2 at the top.
2 is at the
5
top of
at
the X,
bottom.
and then a hypotenuse is 5.
All right, so what's the other side?
The square root of
4,
2
25,
squared.
29.
The root of 21.
Square root of 29.
21.
29.
21.
Oh wait, no, you have to subtract.
21.
Oh, we have to
Five
Square root of
squared
21.
minus 2 squared.
Now,
Okay.
what's this going to be when I put it here?
Root 21.
Negative. It's got to be negative because it's going down. That's why it's important to have the picture. So what is the sine of A?
So, opposite over hypotenuse.
Negative root 21 over 5.
Cosine of A is 2 over 5. That was given to me. Tangent of A.
Negative root 21 over 2.
It was like a loading circle.
I was just thinking.
I can say that because that happens to me too. All right, sine of 2A. It's formula.
1 minus. Ooh, no.
Nope.
2 sine of A, cosine of A.
Yep. So this is 2 times negative root 21 over 5 times 2 over 5. So negative 4 root 21 over 25.
Cancel out.
What?
Can you cancel out the 2? Oh, wait.
Where?
Ooh, I copied that out.
Would you want to cancel the 2 and 25?
I had root 21 over 5 for sine, that's why. So,
Sine is root 21 over 5, but it's negative.
No, I had it over 2.
Oh,
Because my 5's in 2.
I was like, it is that.
Is
All right, cosine, let's choose a different one than we used last time,
We should do.
just because we can.
We should do cosine squared A minus
Cosine
sine squared A.
A minus 1. Never mind.
Mason was wrong. I was right.
You can use any of them. I just went with the first one that I heard, which was cosine squared A minus sine squared A. It doesn't matter which one you use, you're going to get the same answer either way. Being that I have things in a square root, this one's kind of nice, but
2.
So why didn't they just give us one formula so we don't have to memorize all three if they all work?
because like I said, we're going to get to where we're having to cancel things and you need to know all the possible options so that things cancel.
Okay.
So, yes, for the sake of doing these, you could just memorize one of them. But for the sake of canceling things, you're going to need them all. And if you're going to have a cheat sheet, then
Might as well know them all.
might as well at least attempt them. And if you get them wrong, I fix them for you. And there's no hurt to you that way. All right.
This one's easy. I hope.
Cosine was 2 over 5, so this is 2 over 5 squared minus negative root 21 over 5 squared. So this is 4 over 25 minus 21 over 25.
Oh, this one was.
Negative 7 over 27.
17.
17?
25.
You mean 17?
That's what I said.
You said 7.
That's what I said.
6.
I explained to Coach Hunter what that was yesterday.
No, we had to.
We chose teams and then we picked 6, 7 as the number. We won, so we got all
6
first.
and 7.
Like 6, 7. And then Coach got mad at us because we didn't know the 6, 7 meant.
He was like, what? He was like, boy, don't play with me.
All right, tangent of 2a,
Coach y'all lost.
2 tangent of a,
Not the first time.
over 1 minus tangent squared of a.
Once he won all of them.
No.
So 2 times tangent was negative root 21 over 2
Jeffrey, I can't see because your hand's covering my face.
over 1 minus, in parentheses, negative root 21 over 2 squared. They're just being really nice to us today, aren't they?
That we know our hard ones are for homework.
It's Wednesday.
But you have a quiz on Friday.
Aw.
We have a quiz tomorrow.
But you'll have time after we're done to work on these, so you should be fine. And you'll have time tomorrow to work on them and ask questions. Alright, so on top, I'm left with just the negative square root of 21. On the bottom,
1 minus.
I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this 1 as 4 over 4 because I know that this is going to be a 4 on the bottom. Minus 21 over 4. What is that? Negative 17 over 4 on the bottom. Shepard's favorite phrase.
Keep change flip.
Dang it.
Both of these things are negative, so it becomes positive. So this is 4 root 21 over 17.
The days that I'm not here, we do the really, really hard stuff, and then when I actually do show up, we do easy stuff like this.
That's why you should just be at school all the time.
It's not my fault.
Weren't you here for like 77% of
I was only here 75% of third quarter.
It's not a quarter anymore.
Yeah, okay. It was a quarter of a
He was here for 3/4 of a quarter.
Oh, 3/4.
But you were
3/4
gone.
of the third quarter.
You were gone a quarter of the third quarter.
But he was here for
Does that count snow days?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, no.
Did you do your virtual work?
No.
Probably
yes,
not.
I did.
He didn't do
The only,
any
the,
of
the
it.
only work that I have to make up is in this class. Oh, and English, because they do English.
What?
I had to make those like 3 different classes.
Tristan's almost a full year older than the other Tristan.
Tyson is the same age
Wow.
as the seniors.
That's so
Yeah, 'cause he got
weird. How do you
staying
know which
back
one
a
is
year.
which?
That's
Tristan with the Y is the blonde headed kid. Tristan-
What?
My brother's older.
No, it's not.
No, it's the other way around. Wait, oh.
Tyson's older than my brother.
You never knew.
Yeah, your brother.
It's like Tyson's eight.
Tyson's 18.
Tyson's age.
I knew he reclassified, but I didn't realize it was like.
Oh, yeah. This is old.
Alright, for these next problems, rewrite the expression without double angles or half angles given that 0 is less than theta less than pi over 2, then simplify the expression.
Where does this occur? It occurs in the first
The
one.
sine of 2 theta over 2 cosine theta. So I'm rewriting anything that's a double or a half angle in terms of its formula, basically. So how do I rewrite sine of 2 theta?
What formula is this? 2 sine theta, cosine theta.
2 sine theta, cosine theta, over 2 cosine theta. Everything's being multiplied, so I can do some canceling. 2's cancel, cosines cancel, and I'm left with sine theta.
I like that one.
Is this like in the identities thing?
No.
These are just the formulas that we use.
Oh, so.
But it may require you in some of the later ones to also use some identities that you already know potentially.
Like from this, like in this section, like today.
Like the chapter. Yeah,
Like today we'll be doing those. That like myths.
possibly. I'm not sure. I'm just, as we go, we'll see.
Hopefully not.
And I'm not picking like the worst ones. I'm trying to pick like reasonable ones. So 24. Cosine 2 theta over sine theta minus cosine theta. So this is one where obviously cosine 2 theta has 3 formulas. Okay? So you may have to do some trial and error, but being that the bottom is sine theta minus cosine theta, and I know that the goal is to cancel things, my first thought is going to be try the one that includes sine and cosine.
The
So
last
which one would that be?
Last one.
Which is?
Cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta.
Okay.
Did I need to repeat? They'll give it back. I'll give it to you later.
No, I can do it.
So would it just be one?
Did I need to in the faces?
It would just be cosine theta sine theta over 1.
Nope. These things are being subtracted, so I can't just cancel.
Okay.
So I need to see if I can factor the top.
Factor A.
You may not recognize it with this, but if you were given x squared minus y squared, what would you tell me that would factor into? It's a special type.
Z squared.
No. X plus y, x minus y.
It's okay, Mason. I would have said the same.
X plus y times x minus y. So we're going to basically do the same thing here, but x is going to be cosine, y is going to be sine. So this is going to be cosine theta plus sine theta, and then cosine theta minus sine theta over sine theta minus cosine theta. So you say that, but it will. What's the difference in the two that are being subtracted?
They don't have squares.
Flipped.
They're flipped, right? So in one case it's subtracting cosine, and the other one it's subtracting sine. So some crazy math right here. I can factor out a negative.
I hate factoring. I use
So I'm going to factor out a negative from the bottom. So this is going to be cosine theta plus sine theta times cosine theta minus sine theta over, take out a negative, so this would then become cosine theta minus sine theta on the bottom. And I just wrote it in the other order so that the negative one wasn't
It's always
first.
the really long ones where I get lost.
Yeah, I'm really lost.
Well, I'm not lost. I know what
So
you
they
did,
cancel.
but like I don't like how you did it.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever they
it's
cancel.
the only way to do it.
Wait, you said you factor out a negative
From the
but
bottom.
There's still a negative inside.
Because
But
they have
it's
the
now the
numbers.
same thing, cosine minus sine, cosine minus sine.
So
This goes away, negative's gonna move to the top, so this is gonna be negative, parentheses, cosine theta plus sine theta.
why can't it just be a negative 1 on the bottom?
It is, but I'm simplifying it, so I'm putting it
Okay.
on the top.
So when you factor out the negative 1,
Wait,
how did it put the cosine positive and the sine negative on the bottom?
Cause the sign was.
Because I took out a negative.
So so it just flips the signs with both. Okay,
So where is the negative one?
you pulled it out.
Yeah, but where did it come from?
It came from
There's
one-
always there's a 1 in front of everything.
Mhm.
Okay, so we take out the negative one from sine minus cosine theta and put it outside, put it parentheses, and then we flipped it around and then sign got negative?
Yes, because I took out the negative. If I multiply this negative back through, I have negative cosine plus sine, which is what I had here. I could have left this instead as, when I took out the negative, I could have done negative sine plus cosine, but I wanted to write it in that order, so I just flipped the order. They don't usually like you to start with a negative. They like it in the middle, but it doesn't really matter.
Okay, it makes sense. Should we do this now?
26. 2 sine theta over 2 cosine theta over 2. Now, anytime you're using these, we can just, well, I don't want to say anytime. In these particular problems, they have specified that 0 is less than theta less than pi over 2. That means everything is positive. So when I'm using these half angle formulas, I'm using the positive version of it because of where they fall. They're not going to give you one that doesn't fall in quadrant 1, so you're not going to have to worry about that. So how do I write sine of theta over 2?
How do we know if it's positive or negative?
Because they're not a negative sign.
She just
One
said
minus
this.
cosine theta over 2. Like
Literally explained exactly how we know.
She said something about like where it is in the triangle. And it's positive.
Can somebody tell Zach what I just said?
Please. It doesn't look like
No
anyone
one
else
else
listened. No one else listened.
No, she said something about how because they tell us that it is.
What?
No,
I
you
didn't know
did.
about that.
There.
Yeah, that thing right there. They tell us that it is.
Oh,
That's
I
what
didn't
I
know.
said.
I
Stop
didn't know
laughing
we were
at me.
still using that one.
Show me that one,
Let me
too.
write it down. Oh, I already wrote it down.
Okay. What's the cosine of theta over 2?
Yo.
1 plus cosine A over 2 all rooted.
Okay, now, what happens when I have a radical times a radical?
They radical out. I mean,
You can put them all together.
I can put them all together. So this is 2 times, I'm going to do a giant square root, 1 minus cosine theta times 1 plus cosine theta over, I'm going to go ahead and multiply this, 4. What is this top multiply to be?
The difference is squares.
No, it's a perfect square triangle.
It's a difference of squares.
Wait, squares.
Yo.
Oh, yeah, it is.
You have any questions about something?
So what's that part?
1 minus cosine squared.
1 minus cosine squared theta. Square root of 4 is
2.
2. So I'm getting rid of the square root on the bottom. Notice my square root is now only on top. Now, this is where your other identities come in. What's 1 minus cosine squared theta?
Sine theta.
Secant theta.
Wait. Nobody answer yet, so I can answer it. Go smart.
Stop. Your elbows on my paper. I can't.
1 minus.
Cosine squared theta.
You're going to have to
Oh.
manipulate it.
It's
It's
sine
changing.
squared.
Sine squared theta minus 1.
Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So 1 minus cosine squared equals sine squared. Within this, so that I don't have to keep carrying this down, the 2's cancel. There's a top and bottom 2. So then I've got the square root of sine squared theta from my identity. If I need to write it, sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. So sine squared equals 1 minus cosine squared. What's the square root of sine squared?
Sine.
Just sine. We're not going to do verifying with this. We're just going to do these ones. All right. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right. Problems then are
I need $1.
Why?
$1 is what I need.
19, 21, 23, and 25.
I need $20. Can we put this on the same page? So we can
Wait, no,
That's what I said before class started.
Nope.
just